Welcome to the second session of the online Permagarden Foundations course, How Permagardens Contribute to Household Resilience. In this session, we will first reflect on the basic needs of a person and how meeting these needs makes them stronger. Then, we will look at how this same concept applies to our plants. We will then explore shocks, stresses, and resilience, and putting these concepts together, see how a Permagarden approach can contribute to the resilience of a household.
Before we talk about gardens, let's stop for a moment and envision a young child. Take a moment to list what you would consider the most basic needs of a young child. In other words, what things do all young children need to survive? Pause the video while you discuss or make a list in your notebook. Young children everywhere have the same basic needs to grow up healthy and strong. Lots of diverse, healthy foods, adequate water, and clean air. They also need shelter and protection from things like extreme heat and strong rains. And don't forget the care and attention they receive from their caretakers and the community around them. If all these needs are met, then children have the potential to grow and to thrive. Having our basic needs met is central to building our resilience so that we are better able to deal with adverse events when they occur. In development, we talk about two types of adverse events: shocks and stresses. A shock is a short-term event that has a negative impact on a person or a community. This could be a disease outbreak or an environmental event like a major flood or drought. A stress is a long-term trend that negatively impacts a community, leading to a slow erosion of development progress. Some examples include climate change, land degradation, or a protracted crisis. Over time, stresses undermine the stability of a community. Many development projects seek to build the resilience of a community. Resilience is often defined as a system's ability to bounce back from a shock or stress. However, what does that mean in reality? Let's say a community is experiencing a long-term stress, like rains becoming scarcer and more unpredictable over time. Unprotected soils dry out quickly, which leads to a decline in yields for many households. Yet some families' gardens seem to be better able to cope and adapt to these changing conditions. In other words, they are more resilient. So what strategies might these families be using in their gardens? Well, they may learn methods for storing water in the soil or invest in infrastructure for harvesting rainwater. They also might plant a diversity of crops, including drought-resistant varieties that produce year-round. In short, they have multiple strategies they can rely on to help them meet their basic needs and maintain their livelihoods despite the changing weather. Let's go back to the basic needs of a young child. But this time, imagine a young plant growing in a garden. Take a moment to think about the basic needs of this young plant. Pause the video while you discuss or make a list in your notebook. It turns out, plants have many of the same needs as young children. Plants also need diverse, healthy foods which are provided by a nutrient-rich soil, adequate water and air at their root zones, and shelter and protection from extreme heat, strong rains, and grazing animals in the form of shade and fences. And, just like children, plants thrive when they receive care and attention from their caretakers to ensure they have not developed pest or disease issues and have everything they need to grow well. When plants have these basic needs met, they grow into healthy plants, capable of producing nutritious food for our families, building materials for our houses, and fodder for our animals, as well as protecting our land from the impacts of climate change. Plant roots protect the soil from erosion caused by strong rains, and foliage can cool soil surface temperatures and reduce evaporation. So, by meeting the basic needs of plants, we're not only growing more resilient plants, but also building more resilient landscapes. When a garden is healthy, it is more likely to survive a period without rain or fight off a pest infestation. When it is adequately protected from extreme heat or strong rains, it can survive these climate shocks and continue to support the household. In this way, a healthy garden is a resilient garden, and resilient gardens provide support to households in multiple ways: food throughout the year, diverse sources of income, and access to materials that make life easier. A Permagarden approach is grounded first and foremost in ensuring plants have adequate food, water, air, shelter and protection, and care. Permagardens are created with household resilience in mind. They can contribute to household resilience by helping the household meet their basic needs for food and income, even through the dry, hungry seasons or when a shock or stress is affecting the community. Permagardens that meet the minimum standards are intentionally designed to provide for households when times are tough. They don't need the best conditions to be successful, such as where there is abundant rain, rich soils, and easy access to high-quality garden inputs. Rather, they are designed by keeping in mind the typical shocks and stresses a community may face. Pause the video while you stop and think about the following question. How does meeting the basic needs of plants build more resilient gardens and, by extension, more resilient households? Write your answer in your notebook or discuss with your colleagues. Resume the video when you are ready. Meeting the basic needs of plants is the first step in ensuring they remain healthy so they can provide us with food, income, and other basic necessities. We will continue to think about this throughout the course. As you learn more about Permagardens, think about how they could be used to solve the problems you see in the communities you serve.
In conclusion, Permagardens are built with the goal of improving a household's resilience. We've seen that households are more resilient when their basic needs are met. We've also seen how the same idea is true for the plants in our garden. When we build our gardens with the plant's need for food, water, air, protection, and care in mind, we create gardens that are capable of sustaining us, even during tough times. In the next session, we will introduce some fundamental techniques used in Permagardens to manage water and ensure it is available for plant growth when needed. That completes the learning for Session 2, How Permagardens Contribute to Household Resilience. Now, let's continue to Session 3, Water Management for Garden Resilience.